We'll be just waiting for 5 more minutes as parents are still joining. A very good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. A very warm welcome to all the parents, students, and our esteemed panelists. My name is Bansari Trivedi, and I am associated with DPS and
Bansari,
Pallavi Group of
hello.
Schools.
I'm not able to hear you. Is that a problem with me or everyone else?
Yeah, it's audible, ma'am. It's audible to
Am I
all of
audible?
us. Yes, Bansari, you're audible.
All right. To proceed with, it's wonderful to have you all here with us this evening as we come together to discuss something that matters deeply to every parent and every child, which is understanding the strengths, making informed choices, and of course, creating the right environment for your child's education. Whenever parents choose a school, they aren't just choosing a school, a campus, or a curriculum. In fact, being a teacher myself and working closely with parents and students, I can tell you something very honestly that most parents aren't worried about fancy educational terms or complex career jargon. They are just having these questions in the mind, which are: will my child be happy in the school that he or she is going? Will they be safe? Will the teachers understand and support them? Will they get opportunities beyond academics? At the end of the day, have I chosen the right school for my child? Is always the question that remains with the parent. If you've ever had any of these thoughts, you're definitely not alone. And that's exactly why we are here today conducting this webinar exclusively for our parents to understand how Pallavi Group of Schools and especially Gandipet campus works with the children for the child's development as well as understanding parents better. For over 30 years, the Pallavi Group of Schools has earned the trust of thousands of families, and that trust wasn't built overnight. It was built classroom by classrooms as we have reached the 30 years milestone. And carrying the legacy forward for 3 decades is not something any institution can do just by chance. Our chairman, sir, Sri Malka Komaraya, sir, has spent decades building institutions that communities believe in. The values of trust, discipline, opportunity, and educational excellence continue to guide us even today. Before we begin, a quick introduction to the Pallavi International School Gandipet panelists. Pallavi International School, I'd like to talk about the school first and then moving forward with the panelists. The Pallavi International School Gandipet offers Cambridge International.
Pansari,
Yes.
I'm just sorry to interrupt. Ma'am, can you hear? I mean, are you able to hear? Hema ma'am? Okay, I believe Hema ma'am is not able to hear. If you could just, yeah, if you could just
Ma'am said that to
ensure.
continue that, ma'am log in with the mobile. You can continue, ma'am, no problem.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Can I proceed, Emma ma'am? Are you able to hear me now?
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Pallavi International School Gandipet offers Cambridge International Education from early years to primary years and CBSE from grade 1 to grade 12. The school provides a balanced learning environment that combines academic, sports, leadership opportunities, life skills, experiential learning, and future-focused career guidance. So today isn't just about presentations that we are going to put up here in the Zoom link. We are exclusively gathered here so that our panelists talk more about the evolving education and as well as the education changes that we at Pallavi International School Gandipet have brought not only to the syllabus, to the academics, as well as our approach of how we teach children, right? So we are going to have an open conversation in this webinar today. And because in today's world, success is no longer about choosing science, commerce, or humanities. It's about understanding who your child is, how they learn, what motivates them, and what their strengths are and where they truly lie. And that's exactly what we hope to explore here today. So parents, once we are done with the questions that I'm going to ask the panelists, kindly feel free to post any kind of questions that you have in the chat box, as we are here to answer all your queries. To begin with the panel introduction, I'd first like to introduce Hema ma'am. Provided ma'am, can you hear me? If you give me a heads up, I will introduce you.
I can hear you. Please go on.
Yes. Good evening, ma'am. To begin our discussion, I'd like to introduce Ms. Hema ma'am, the principal of Pallavi International School, Gandipet. With years of experience in education and school leadership, she has played a significant role in creating a learning environment where academic excellence, student well-being, and holistic development go hand in hand. A very good evening to you, ma'am. Once I introduce other two panelists, I will be asking questions to you first. Our next panelist is Mr. Kirti Kumar, sir, an IIM and ISB alumnus, entrepreneur, angel investor, and the founder behind CognitiveScore.ai. Having worked closely with startups, technology, and talent development, he brings a unique perspective on how technology and artificial intelligence can help students better understand their strengths and make informed career decisions. A very good evening to you, sir. And our third panelist, Mr. C.K.N. Krishna, sir. A highly respected education expert and career mentor with extensive experience guiding students and parents through subject selection, higher education pathways, and career planning as well. His practical understanding of how education connects to real-world opportunities makes him the right choice to help us and decode career choices in today's rapidly changing world. A very good evening to you, sir. And now to jump in with the questions to the panelists, starting with Hema ma'am. Ma'am, parents today have more choices than ever before when it comes to schools. So before infrastructure, facilities, and academic results, what should parents really look for when choosing a school for their child, and specifically why Pallavi School Gandipet, ma'am?
Thanks, Bansari. I think that's quite a real question which you asked to start off for this webinar. I think rather than one getting caught up with the aesthetics like a very fancy building or a state-of-art building with high-end cafeteria or some sports facilities, and for that matter, board exam scores. I think that is just surface level vibe, you know. Honestly, at Pallavi, we really try shifting the whole vibe from an old school, stressful academic grind to something that actually makes sense for kids today. Like, obviously, getting those top grades is a major flex, but what's the point if a child is really burnt out, right? We are all about protecting students, making them feel safe, you know, being peaceful, and
Right.
and the calmness really makes them prioritize their not only the mental health, you know, making sure that they explore their unique hyperfixations, let's say like sports or arts, or for that matter, coding, right? And that's the holistic game which we look at Pallavi International School, Kandipet, when where kids feel safe, they feel profoundly wanted, supported, and literally, I think they can slay the academics anywhere. Yeah.
Right. Right, ma'am. I have another question exclusively for grade 11 and 12, our senior secondary wing. With the introduction of diverse subject combinations and electives in grade 11, how does the school specifically help students explore their interests, make informed academic choices, and prepare for competitive exams, university admissions, future careers, Olympiads? At the same time, you know, parents and students always have this question that how will I be able to manage my academics and my other, you know, internships with the subject choices that I have taken? So if you can shed some light on the same.
Okay, so grade 11 for Pallavi International School is a big milestone because students really start making choices that can shape their future careers, and higher education journeys start from school. At Pallavi International School, we don't really believe in one size fits all approach. Instead, we really help children discover what they genuinely are interested in and where are their strengths, right? For choosing a certain stream and an elective, like we offer all the three streams of sciences, commerce, and humanities with varied electives, catering to all the new options which CBSE board has to offer. And the universities or the higher education is quite aligned with the options which we give on our campus. The children are taken to universities, we give that exposure for educational trips. Besides doing that, but it's not just about the academics. We really encourage children to take up leadership roles, they participate in competitions, take on projects, and present it, which engage the community also. And obviously, communication and critical thinking skills are what is more needed for a child to be successful in a university or in a future employable landscape, right? And our focus simply is to help children choose wisely, learn deeply, and step into the future with a purpose. I really would like to draw the attention of the audience to one data which I found it quite interesting about the rising skills in 2025 and 2030 by the World Economic Forum. Right here, I see that the multilingualism or the global citizenship, which we have been harping, are actually at the bottommost, while creative thinking, you know, technology literacy, curiosity, and lifelong learning are the topmost skills. And these are in the rising in the next 5 years. I think that's where we come in, where we help the children choose what really suits them. Yeah.
Right. Ma'am, alongside the same question, like we have so many electives, parents are also always concerned about, you know, how the kid is not only improving academically, like you mentioned, with the electives. You also mentioned at the same time that through these certain events that the school conducts, the children are able to gain leadership skills and are also building their confidence in, say, public speaking, which is very difficult among children at this age. So if you can just quickly and briefly shed light on how our school specifically encourages children in these leadership roles, as well as in building the confidence that they need. How are we making them our confident leaders?
I think this generation is already confident. all they need is a forum, a platform to express. Right? That's where our school really projects the children to take up ownership, take accountability of the initiatives which a school is doing. In fact, plan. Right? They follow the design thinking model, they plan the events, they execute it end to end, really helping these children to understand the nuances of what an event or an activity is. Right? So we kind of divide the entire program into 3 or 4 pillars where the children are working towards sustainability or climate action. And we have this community connect, especially with the Cyberabad Police or Raksha Kavach. And this is where the children are actually becoming marshals or ambassadors for safety of children. Right? And then we also have the academic initiatives like the STEM program. We have collaborated with CBIT also in running summer camps and build-a-thons. Right? So that's where I see my children really flourishing and doing very well, besides having the academic prowess.
Right, right. Thank you, ma'am. We've spoken about the opportunities available to children, but even with all these opportunities, one challenge remains. How do we truly understand what each child is naturally good at? And that's where our next discussion becomes very interesting, which is heading me straight towards Kirti sir now. Kirti sir, many parents understand their child mainly through marks, report cards, and teacher feedback. What important things about a child can get missed when we look only at this academic performance?
Kirti, you have to unmute yourself.
Kirti sir?
You're not able to?
No, we're not able to hear him.
All right. Can the IT team just pitch in here to unmute the speaker, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I believe now it's the settings.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Before I address the question which you have asked, let me thank Pallavi International School for taking such a kind of progressive step towards inculcating a holistic school development, student development, right? And for bringing us together with this fine evening. And to all the parents out here, let me start with a simple question before I answer the question which you have raised, right? So I would request all the parents to basically think on this. If your child ever, I'm sure most of you will criticize me for this question, but let's take an hypothetical situation. If your child lost every single report card that they ever received from the school, would you still know what makes them truly extraordinary? So what I'm trying to drive home is simple, is that if every single report card that you as a parent receive for your child at your school, how are you going to understand whether your child is truly extraordinary? If yes, in which area? I'm sure most of you would be guessing, right? It's practically impossible right now. Because while marks tell us how a child performed academically, they don't always tell us who the child is. And that's exactly the conversation we are here to have today. Thank you so much, Hema ma'am. Thank you so much, Pallavi International School, for having us today. Now, coming back to the question which you have brilliantly put across, right? The answer which I believe is like this, to my limited experience and knowledge. Marks tell us how a child performed in a particular exam. They don't always reflect who the child really is, right? For example, let's take an example. There are two children out there in Pallavi International School, and both the students have secured 95% marks, right? Now let's go further. One child has memorized the entire answers a night before. We may call that child as a night owl. The other child on the other side, during the entire academic year, has been spending time in asking questions, solving problems in different ways, the same questions, and also helping the other classmates understand the concept for the same different kind of questions. while the report card which you and me have received reflect a single constant number, which is 95%. But the skill behind those marks are completely different or hidden. So what we are trying to say is that one number cannot reveal the curiosity, the creativity, the critical thinking, resilience, communication, and collaboration capabilities the brilliant child possesses out there. And these are the qualities which often determine success in today's AI world, where a future or a tomorrow career is not even coined today. Right? While I'm not against the academics or the curriculum, I myself have been a student and I've been a child out there. As a parent, I can always vouch one thing for simple. Your academics and your curriculum will lay the right foundation for you, but the entire ecosystem which encourages the child to remain curious, to build creativity, to improve communication and collaboration, and have that resilience at the center is something what the child will emerge as a winner in this AI world, right? So what we are trying to focus only on the report cards, we often miss some of the most important things that perhaps our children should be possessing. And I'm thankful to Pallavi International School for bringing this beautiful webinar together, right? And these are the few things which I'm trying to put across on table to all the parents out there. A child may have exceptional creativity, but he or she may have average marks. Let's not try to label the child. A child may be a natural problem solver, but still the child may struggle with memorization, right? So a child may have strong leadership capabilities, but never appear in the exam because our curriculum, our exam pattern never captures those skills which are actually required for future. And I'm sure when all of our parents, we were also children at some point of the time, we might have friends around us who might be weak in probably academics during while we were studying, but today they are successful in their own career. We might be better academically as parents when we were children, but the weaker students who were so-called weaker in academics are today probably leading a different career in their own pathways.
Right.
Right? So as parents, we all want to answer one simple question, including myself. What is my child's true potential? And unfortunately, marks answer only a small part of that question. I often tell parents this very well because whenever we interact with a lot of schools, a lot of parents out there, a report card typically measures performance, but understanding a child requires us to measure potential. And that potential is often hidden beneath the marks, which we call as how your mind is uniquely wired. Yeah, that's from my side, ma'am.
Right, right, sir. So just inclining towards the same lines, cognitive score.ai that you've built focuses on identifying the strengths, interests, and the learning patterns of our students. So, in simple terms, sir, how can this help parents better understand their child and make more informed decisions about their future?
Great, very good question. Thank you so much for asking me that. Let's take an example, right? Because see, if we have got close to 124 parents, including educators out there in this webinar right now, but I'm sure everyone has got a different capabilities out there in terms of understanding whatever we are speaking. Few of them would be probably enjoying the conversation in case I am explaining the same kind of a concept by using creativity as a tool. But few of the parents might enjoy the conversation in case I'm explaining the same concept by using more logistic or probably more analytical kind of stuff, right? So what I'm trying to bring on an example is that let's imagine you are going out. Currently, we are having a summer vacation, right? So imagine you are going for a long journey out there, and most parents today are trying to guide their child's future using only marks. That's like driving a car by looking only at the speedometer. Speedometer will only give you two things: what speed you are running and what's the kind of average or mileage your car is going to deliver. But to reach the right destination, we all need something called as a GPS navigation. Cognitive score.ai exactly works like your mental GPS or your mind GPS. We basically help educators and parents discover how the child naturally learns or how the child naturally gets motivated, right? It's very important to understand whether I am a creative person or I understand subjects or concept when explained more logical way, or if I understand the same subject or concept when I explain in hands-on experience way. Unless and until this diagnosis is missing, the blind effort which parents and educators are making is actually creating students more anxious, and in the speed that we are all covered with, we are labeling the students. What cognitivescore.ai helps parents is very simple, is that we help parents discover what comes naturally to their child,
Mhm.
which are the cognitive superpowers and growth areas of the child, right? How their child learns best. We firmly believe at cognitivescore.ai that no child is weak. The only missing element the system is having is that we as parents, we as educators, fail to understand that same medicine is not going to cure all the diseases that you and me are having. Every body has got a different way of reacting, responding to the medicine which has been given.
Right.
Likewise, most important organ in human beings, which is mind. Every mind is brilliant. The only difference is every mind understands, process, absorbs, engage when conveyed in a differentiated manner. So if you as parents, you as progressive educators understand what connects KK and what drives KK or motivates KK when you are teaching math or science or humanities, every single child out there will develop interest in that particular subject. So instead of putting blind efforts, why are you not putting a lot of efforts in reading, getting
Mm.
good marks out there? Subtle difference in terms of what generates interest. Just taking an example, because I'm sure most parents are there and mothers would also be there. Last example I will take. If your child is not developing interest in certain food item, what do we normally do? As mother, we adopt a creative approach. If the child is not interested in particular food item, but it is good for his or her health, you don't stop there. You use that same food item and put that food item into some other food which is naturally interested to that particular child. And therefore, slowly and steadily, the same child who was not liking the food earlier or a fruit or a milk earlier starts
Yes.
developing interest or taste buds into that. This is a simple thing which we have to do in our school, in our classrooms. And I'm taking this liberty to say that Pallavi International School is so progressive that they're just not thinking about curriculum, completing the subjects, but they have also taken the far more, one more step in terms of incorporating cognitivescore.ai, which is basically making teaching aligned as per your child's cognitive capabilities. इन शॉर्ट व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू ब्रिंग ऑन होम, हर बच्चे की एक ही कहानी है, मेरा स्कूल सिर्फ पढ़ाता नहीं, मेरा स्कूल समझता भी है. So if you're able to understand every single child, imagine when we were children, we had got limited options, engineering, science, so on and so forth. As a child today, you have thousands of career options in front of you. You have multitudes of distractions out there in the form of social media. And there is exponential expectation and competition out there thanks to AI in place. The child is very curious. The child is very anxious. The only good thing which we can do is understand how his mind is wired, align our communication, align our teaching, which naturally connects with the child, and you will see miracle happening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kirti, sir. Very well explained. And in fact, like you said, Pallavi International School, Gandipet, and exactly the same thing I'm trying to explain the parents as well, is that we do not just focus on academics and scores and, just also just focusing on sports and marks. We do all rounder and holistic development for our children, which is why cognitivescore.ai has come into the picture, where we understand how a child likes to learn something, what are his or her strengths, benefits, how can we find a creative approach to help the kid and more. So thank you so much, Kirti sir, for
Thank you.
understanding
My
I
pleasure. I believe
would,
Hema ma'am wants to say something.
yeah, I was quite impressed by the way you put. So I will add something which maybe the parents can resonate here to what Mr. Kirti has also told, that we understand children. So every day my teacher is actually dealing with 4 different types of learners broadly, right? Somebody who is a visual learner, somebody who is an auditory learner, right? Or somebody who is kinesthetic in nature. They would like to run around, tactile learners, right? And then there is somebody who is very reading focused, analytical kind of a thing. So I'll take one activity which we take up, right? So we have the upcoming huge event is Invest Teacher Ceremony, right? So the entire groundwork starts with the children, right? And this is very clearly mapped to politics, social sciences, economics, right? Where maybe in a classroom, the teacher is talking about mind maps, or they are talking about some digital media presentations. The same concept is taken to the learners, to the auditory learners through peer teaching, right? Or the MUNs or the youth parliaments, where there's a huge debate and, there are ideas floating around and suggestions and policies being developed by the children. And the same topic again goes to campaigning for the school elections, which is definitely a footprint of what Indian politics is. So everything we do in a school has a clear mapping. It has a clear connect. And I think that's what Mr. Kirti is also trying to put here. So thanks for that. I think I just wanted to share this because children do understand and they're looking forward to this grand event where the children would be wearing their badges soon. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. And understanding a child's strength is one part of the journey, like we just understood. And the next challenge is helping students turn those strengths into the right subject choices, higher education pathways, and ultimately meaningful careers that we've been working hard for. Right? So students today have access to far more subject choices and career opportunities than the previous generations. So my question now moves to Krishna, sir. Sir, many students and parents feel confused after grade 8, 9, and 10 because there are so many subject and career options available now. How should they start making these choices without pressure or panic?
So you can hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah. So it's a wonderful panel discussion. I appreciate Pallavi International School and then team for the great initiative here. So very nice question. Now the $1 million question is how students are navigating for the next course of action post the 10th standard. Generally, we have a few sort of parents.
One second. Could you please open your camera?
They'll be having questions like, Karna kya hai? For example, my child, I observed that he's good in math.
Bansari, could you just prompt, please?
Then he's good at chemistry, blah, blah, blah. These kind of questions are there. So the question right now is, how do I choose my career sphere? If I understand, if I have to put it based on the data available, generally, we call it as an eternal dilemma. A lot of students in the 10th standard, they feel that I'm in my preparation right now. Let me finish my preparation. Let me go for my board exams here. Let me decide then. We have a couple of students who come back and then say that my dad wanted me to be an engineer. My mom wanted to be a doctor. So that I would like to go for the MPC. I would like to go for the BPC. There is something like a confused mindset. And then almost there is 20 to 25% of the students who are joining into this kind of integrated program. When I use the word integrated programs, there's a couple of schools which are having a tie-up with some training centers.
Sir, if you don't mind, sorry for interrupting. Is it possible that you can turn on your camera? We are unable to see you.
Yeah. So we have a couple of students who will come back from this integrated model. I opted for MPC, math, physics, and then chemistry. And then eventually at a later stage, I decided that engineering is not my cup of tea. And then I kickstarted my preparation. I'm not able to cope up with the physics and then chemistry. I may not be able to meet my expectation as an NEET is concerned. We have a lot of such students. These are the kind of difficulties we are having. We always recommend students and then parents to keep a couple of points before they decide. Number one, match your personal interest with a potential career. It's not like I'm going for an MEC right now. It's I'm going for a CEC. First of all, you clear your roadmap. If I go for my MEC, what is that I'm going to do the next? If I'm going for a CEC, what is that I'm going to do the next year? Let's have some idea on the career path also. For example, we have at least 50% of the students in our vicinity when we visit various schools and then colleges. Randomly, I like my math, I like physics, and then I learned something else. That's why I opted for X, Y, G subjects here. Eventually, at a graduation, I realized that if I have to get into this specialization, these subjects are not sufficient. I would have done something else. That's where the problem starts here. So we always recommend that identify what are your personal interests. For example, if I have 3 subjects here, as per the board curriculum, we have limited options. For example, a student would like to go for a math and then physics. And if I say, I don't want to see, I want economics, that is not possible. Math, physics, economics combination is not possible here. So there is at least 1-2 subjects you may have to go, whether you are willing or you are not willing here. So identify that out of the 3 subjects, at least 2 subjects you always like to spend your time there across these 2 subjects here. That's the point number 1. Point number 2, you have a basic idea as to which career better suits for you post your 12th standard. I'm talking about the UG course here. We have a couple of courses which are specialization neutral. For example, now we have a couple of emerging courses here. In this forum, I strongly feel that I don't have to talk much about engineering and then medicine here, because every house has got at least 2 engineers. Every alternative house has got a doctor here. So we have abundant information available in the market. But nowadays, law is one of the booming careers. You know, a lot of students, they are going for the BA LLB program, the BBA LLB kind of programs here. So a student who would like to pursue law can give the exam with any kind of subjects at 11th and 12th. MPC guy can do it, BPC guy can do it, MEC guy can do it, anyone can do it, even from humanity background as well. For example, if a student would like to get into the predominant courses of the BCom honors, let's say from a Delhi University, you're talking about a Sri Ram College of Commerce, Lady Sri Ram kind of college here. Then they will be writing a test called CUET, for which a strong foundation of English language skills are required here, along with the subject skills as well. If the child would like to pursue economics at undergraduation here, let's say BA Economics, for a BA Economics at a Delhi University, math is a compulsory subject. So I would like to put it this way here. Let's have a clarity. If your ward is an aspirant of a Delhi University, to pursue BA Economics from the predominant college like a St. Stephen Delhi or a Hansraj Gargi kind of colleges, though it is BA Economics at 11th and 12th, math is mandatory. Whether you are talking about a regular math or you are talking about an applied math. I would like to go to a private university like a Narsee Monjee University. At a Narsee Monjee University, for majority of the courses, math is mandatory here. So understand that way. What is my route map? Accordingly, you choose that one. Then
So on
you
the similar lines, sir, I'd like to bring in the subject choices that we offer, which is, with subjects like entrepreneurship, mass media, legal studies,
Right.
fashion studies, applied mathematics, physical education,
Absolutely.
informatics practices, and many more, and traditional streams available, sir. How can students exactly choose the combinations that match both their interests as well as career goals? Because
Simple.
the subjects that I just mentioned now, like you said, some student who's interested in mathematics turns out to be an extremely good videographer and an animator, and he'd like to take mass media. So then it leaves the students, with 2 options, that if not this mathematics career, I can go for mass media as well. So my question to you is, sir, how can students choose combinations that match both their interests and their career goals as well?
Absolutely. So that's what exactly we are trying to say here. Let's have a preparation as to you keep 1-2 backup options. This is what my graduation, probably as soon as they join the 11th standard, they may not have 100% clarity. This is what I want to do here. So by the end of 11th or mid of 11th, they may get some kind of clarity that this is what I would like to do. But till then, if you feel that, yes, I would like to go for, let's say, an MEC subject here, wherein I keep my backup options for, let's say, you're talking about CA, ICWA, company secretary kind of courses. Along with that, the child can also prepare for the BCom honors, or nowadays IIMs in India, around 11 IIM, they started 5 years integrated program. When I say 5 years integrated program, it's a 3 years BBA plus 2 years MBA here. So from IIM Indore, IIM Rohtak, IIM Shillong, predominant IIMs, they are offering the program here. As you know, majority of the dream of the management aspirants in India to get it on IIM. Now the 12th standard students straight after 12th standard can join there. So if this MEC guy, if he is going for math, economics, and then commerce, simultaneously if he is keeping business studies as an elective subject here, there is a value addition. Now we have a humanities guy. This humanity guy is eventually at a later stage, he decided that I would like to go for BA economics. If that be the case, we recommend them at least to go for applied math as an elective subject. If he is having an applied math, then his choices are open for the BA psychology, law kind of programs. Along with that, he can also go for the BA economics here. So based on that degrees, what he is aspiring, he'll be going for.
Right. Thank you so much for your inputs, sir. Before we start the Q&A for parents here, one last question for Hema ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are. I hope you can see me because I'm logged in with two mobiles.
Currently,
I
we
know-
cannot see you, ma'am. We can only
Yeah,
hear you.
I'm logged in as Hema. Anyway, I think the IT guy can help me pin me. Anyway, please go ahead. I think
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
not.
Ma'am, one last question before I start the Q&A for the parents. Ma'am, for parents currently exploring schools for their children, what message would you like to leave them about the Pallavi learning experience?
Okay, so that's that's quite an interesting question because the choice lies ultimately with the parent, right? That's a very important decision for their child. And I would urge parents, while academics is certainly a very important thing, and good grades is something very important and regarded as the highest achievement of a child, I would definitely want parents to look at their growing years. How are they feeling safe and respected and encouraged by teachers? How is a child expressing themselves each day? Are they confident? Are they feeling the goodness around? Is the school really able to nourish and nurture their beliefs, their dispositions, their values, and their interests? I think that is what the parents should be looking at more because each learner is unique. Each learner has a different style of learning, right? And they excel when they feel comforted, that they excel when they feel acknowledged, and that motivation of a teacher is like more than $1 million, right? So I would urge parents to look at a school which encourages holistic development, gives equal importance not only to academic excellence but a personality excellence, leadership opportunities, community engagement, which is aligned with seva, which is inbuilt in our culture to serve someone, right? And ultimately, it's the discipline and the responsibility which takes a child miles, right? And I think that's what I would really want my parents to look at. The ultimate and a simple goal is that the child should be able to lead this country, right? And we are one part where we will be nurturing the child to achieve that ambitious dream.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. We've discussed school, student strengths, and career pathways. I'd now like to open the floor to questions from our parents and students in the chat box, please. And I'd request the panelists to be ready as I answer the question. As I ask the question, you can kindly start answering. Parents, the chat box is open. Kindly drop in your questions as we start asking the panelists.
I think I read one question from Mr. Brian about
Yes, ma'am. The question says, how can the 3-language policy accommodate children of interstate migrant families? If a student moves from one state to another in middle school, they may be forced to learn a completely new regional language at an advanced level. Has any thought been given to bridge programs, national portability, or flexible language options so that career mobility for parents does not become an educational burden for children?
Excellent question. I think I'll take this question about the three language policy, though I don't know if it's the forum to discuss, but yet I think I'll go ahead. The three language policy is definitely not a burden or something which is forced upon, right? At sixth grade, the level of sixth grade, there's a new language which is introduced according to NEP or the board, right? Here, when a child is moving to any other state and they have to start, the level is the first level at which they start. And especially after grade 8, if the child is moving from any other state, it is not mandatory to learn that regional language of the state. There is always an exemption given by CBSE with the proper documentation. We can always ask the CBSE to exempt the child from this language. So, dear parents, please do not worry. Learning a language is like learning something new, right? Till the time you don't force a child on grades, I think the school will direct, drive, and help the child to cope with the new language. And of course, there are exemptions for your children too.
Right. I think the next question is for Kirti sir. Kirti sir, do we have anything integrated on Cognitive Champ? Asks a parent.
Thank you so much. So I believe the question is related to Cognitive Score.ai. CogniChamp was just effort from our side to make parents and educators understand the importance of mind over marks, right? So that's a scholarship program that we recently concluded in Telangana. So Cognitive Score.ai is a very simple technology agnostic and hardware agnostic application, which we extend to partner schools. Along with the partner schools, the parents also get an access to the entire insights about how your child thinks, responds, adapts, etc., etc. It's a very holistic application. We just not diagnose what is your child's mental capabilities or patterns. We also give further actionable insights, which empowers every single parent and educator out there to do that small fine-tune changes which generates a lot of stimulation, motivations, and drives curiosity amongst every single child. And as a third step, which is very, very important, whatever is the cognitive growth areas, which probably in our layman's language we might call as cognitive weaknesses, but we call as cognitive growth areas. The science that we have built automatically generates personalized monthly mind exercises, which the child can undertake for 15 to 20 minutes either at the convenience of the school or at the convenience of the home. It's a complete web-based ecosystem. Again, I repeat, no hardware, no software investment. The intent of the monthly mind exercises to improve your level from where you are when it comes to your cognitive capabilities. One last and very important point I would love to leave to all 116 parents out there.
अम्मी मैं बंद कर दूंगी अभी रुक जाओ 10
Ma'am,
15 मिनट की बात है
you are on unmute.
Yeah, sorry, no problems. So cognitive capabilities, or what we call as mind intelligence, is not a stagnant process. It's not what today you have, you remain like this for your entire life. Cognitive capabilities are longitudinal in nature. That means it progresses every month, every day, every quarter, every year. It's the environment that you connect and you engage further drives the child, including you and me, till the age of 60, 65. Your cognitive capabilities can improve. But yes, the earlier you start, the better it becomes for you to improve your cognitive growth areas. I believe I've answered that question.
Right. Thank you, sir. We have next question. I believe Hema ma'am and Kirti sir, you may be able to answer this. What are the ways to introduce to primary classes likely 1 to 5 to introduce cognitive skills?
Hema ma'am has to give me green signal. Hema ma'am,
We have one more question on the similar lines from Ms. Divya again. Wanted to know what all the school is planning to inculcate cognitive skills to students. I think both the questions are similar and go hand in hand. So,
Hema ma'am, do you want to answer that? She's not able to hear. Okay, I'll take up that.
yes, sir.
Great. So, if you look out, as per the national education policy, the entire curriculum is now basically divided into 4 different categories. One is the preparatory, the second is your foundational, the third is your middle, and the last one is secondary. So the entire application we have designed after our 9 years of our scientific endeavors. Now, what we do is that for the early year student, which is up to grade 2, what is more important is your FLN, which is Foundational Literacy and Numeracy Gap. So if a child is good in numeracy, for example, as a parent, we think he is an Einstein. But the problem is when the child grows into a higher grades or probably even get into his or her career, just numeracy skills will not help you. You also need to have literacy skills as well. Therefore, if the FLN is not preventively or proactively identified and fixed, which is in early years, you cannot do anything in the latter years. It's as simple as that. One concept missed today, even though you have become a PhD holder of that particular subject, if that concept is not clear somewhere in your brain, and in life that same concept challenge comes and hits you, the child goes completely anxious, lacks confidence, and becomes a failure. So it's very, very important to align cognitivescore.ai or design pedagogy or teaching process right from early years. So we focus on FLN, which I said, foundational literacy and numeracy. That the educators also get a second actionable insight, which we call as 4Cs, which is your creativity, curiosity, communication, and collaboration. How the child is shaping up in these 4Cs. And again, I repeat, we are not stopping just by giving you a prescription or a report. We also design monthly mind exercises to improve those 4Cs gap. Likewise, the CBSE or the NEP mandates a scientific holistic progress card to be designed and developed without any human intervention, which is practically impossible, right? And HPC is much more beyond your report card, traditional report card, which only gives you a unidirection in terms of marks. And HPC is something which gives you much more deeper insight as a parent. What are the metacognition? How your child is basically using the learnings into real life application, and so on and so forth. So therefore, I as a parent, when I was designing this, right, the entire thing was that what I have missed as a child when I was studying in my school, I always have night dreams or night disasters or anxious moments whenever the math used to come and hit me.
Right.
Beyond when I crossed grade 7, coincidentally, luckily, I found an educator in my school who was able to relate and understand and develop confidence, interest in math within me. And that's what made me today what I am. But not every single child is so lucky. Therefore, this scientific tool is very, very useful, both for the progressive educators like Pallavi, along with the parents. So for that's the up to class 2, and so far it goes up to middle and secondary. And especially, I would love to say that if the child is 14 years and above, our system also recommends which are the subjects and career options naturally your mind is interested in. I leave a very important thought to all the well educated parents out there. You might be working for 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours a day in your respective jobs or respective careers, but you feel burnout. The only reason you are burned out is not your physical attribute. You feel burnout because your mind is not cherishing, enjoying, connecting, and getting motivated with your job. Therefore, if you don't want this to be repeated with your child, give them the career, give them the subjects, give them the school, which not just teaches them, but also understands them. The most important is understanding, teaching automatically follows.
Right.
So in beyond 14 years and above, our system also gives to the parent and to the career counselors subjects and careers which are naturally of interest to the child. On top of it, if career counseling can be bundled up, it becomes a holistic career counseling.
Sir, on the similar lines, we have another question. I think Krishna sir will also be able to answer this. Whether PIS does any career counseling, yes. And if so, what is the ideal grade in which the child is mature enough to decide on the career path and take up the career counseling guidance? This is another question asked by a parent.
Ma'am, this is to Mr. Krishna.
Krishna sir? we also have another question for Krishna, sir. Probably you can answer them together. Is
Yeah.
that as you explained the combination of two skills like maths and mass communication, it would be
Right.
helpful if we publish such combination of courses available in the market and educate parents, which will be helpful for parents in choosing career path. Any inputs on these? This question is not very clear. In fact, this is the example that I have given. Krishna, sir,
Okay.
you can
So
start
as per
one.
the example that you have
Yeah.
given, I will put it this way. For example, assume that there is a student who has taken MPC, Math, Physics, Chemistry as subjects. This child, other than engineering, he can also explore to IIMs. That is, IIMs have an exam called IPMAT, Integrated Program in Management Admission Test. So IIM Indore is the first IIM here. Then we have a set of 11 IIMs. Other than that, we have IIM Bangalore started a new course that is BSc in Data Science as a major, Economics as a minor, and vice versa. Economics as the major, Data Science as the minor. IIT Patna started a BBA plus MBA program. On top of everything, now when the world is talking about AI, IIM Lucknow is the first IIM in India having started BBA plus MBA in AI management. The entrance exam for the same is JEE. That is, they are giving admissions on the basis of JEE here. So student of MPC can also get into this other than engineering and medicine, that IIM courses here, for which it's always better if we can add additional language skills. So my recommendation would be you take some optional subject which is giving you a deep dive into English language, because IPM has an aggressive testing of English language, whereas IIT JEE, they don't have any aggressive testing there as far as English language is concerned. So these students are expected to gain a right knowledge on the language here. That's one part. Then we are talking about the BPC students. Other than NEET, if they would like to get into that kind of the so-called courses of IIMs, so then you are talking about the BBA kind of programs, they can also start looking for the applied math as an optional subject here. Commerce economics students, same is the case here as we already discussed. So if this child would like to go for a BA economics, we recommend them either to go for math or applied math. Humanities students, based on the interest, they can go for one more subject, let's say business studies, if they are
Right.
into only BBA kind of programs. If they are serious aspirants of law, we also recommend them to take legal studies as an elective subject. So based on the courses, they can keep one backup.
Right. As ma'am has also replied that we start career counseling from grade 9. And in fact, to answer this question a little more, this example was given by me as I had my own student. I teach mass media. He was extremely good in mathematics, but also selected mass media as an optional. So having sir also adding to the question, there are two choices that he has. So one more question on the similar lines. With the rapid advancement of AI and its impact on jobs, what guidance would you give students and parents regarding the skills, mindset, and career choices children should develop from at an early age?
So we have anyways a panel of 3 members, Hema madam, and then one more sir is there, Mr. Karan sir. They can also add values there, some
Right,
inputs
right.
there. I'll just put it this way. As per our observation, present corporate, they are looking for basically 4 C's. I'll use the word 4 C's. Communication, creativity, then you're talking about critical thinking and collaboration. These 4 are the essential skills in the AI era. As long as we have the people handling skills and we have the creative skills, a machine cannot replace a human being. So we have a lot of jobs. Of course, yes, as you rightly said here, AI is taking away a lot of jobs here. At the same time, AI is also creating a lot of jobs here. So we have to be adept with the 4 C's here. So other panel members
Right.
can also add.
Right. Sir, I think Kirti sir, this question is for you and Hema ma'am, probably if she's able to unmute herself. Many students appear physically present in class but mentally disengaged. What are the primary causes of this phenomenon and how can parents and educators address it?
Sir, would you like to take that?
Sure, Hima ma'am. Thank you so much for giving this. Great. So it's a simple thing. Parents, we are having right now 96 parents out there. We were having 127 probably 5 minutes back, right? So that's just live example Many parents are not interested in the way we are probably conveying or communicating or exchanging our examples with you. So simple thing, if your mind is not enjoying the music, the environment, the content, the way it has been explained, you will feel disconnected. It's as simple as that. The most important organ, we believe it's heart. Heart can probably give you that you are a living being. But after living being, if you really want to do something out of the beautiful life you have got, the most important organ is your mind. And if the mind neurons or the way it is wired, if it is not getting the right amount of curiosity, right amount of stimuli, I'll just give an example as well. Your child might be topper in your class or your school. As a parent, you feel very proud. But I'll tell you that's the biggest mistake as a parent and as a child we are doing. Because that means the child will slowly and steadily start developing cognitive capabilities which become stagnant. And in this today's AI world, there is no place for stagnancy. There is always a place for improvisation, creativity, pattern discovery, and problem solving. If we are all making our children curious, problem solvers, creative people who basically believe that they have resilience, they can pursue even after odds coming and hitting them, no matter of AI, no matter of machine learning, no matter of data science, will take away the bright future ahead of our children. So it's as simple as that. There was a recent movie, Dhurandhar. Let me just take one more Bollywood example. There was a song, right, whose lyrics you and me will not understand because it's none of the Indian languages that we connect with. But I'm sure 98% of us will start moving our legs the moment that song plays in. That
True.
is the power of that music. It is
Right.
connecting straight with your neurons, your mind, and your mind is enjoying it. Vis-a-vis, if there is another A.R. Rahman movie, probably few will enjoy, but not everyone will enjoy. You have to be relatable. Earlier, when I was a student or a child, survival of fittest was the game. Today and future, survival of finest is the way about it. No more fittest. It's all about finest if you want to really live and win this world.
Right. That is very well explained, ma'am. I think we'll just end this webinar with one last question, probably for Sir again and Hema, ma'am. A parent asks, considering the current AI era, how are you going to use AI in building a student's career?
Okay, firstly, I think education, the basis of education is based on 4 pillars. It is KSVD, KCVD, sorry, knowledge, capacities, values, and dispositions. And that's the crux of Indian education system, where the children understand, they use the understanding, they apply, they develop a value around it, and they live a life which talks about how glorious and grand it has been. Now, AI is definitely an intervention tool, right? And when you use this tool to optimize, to grasp all these 4 pillars, I think that's when the education becomes more meaningful and the journey is enjoyable by the child. Right?
Right.
Using AI as a tool is definitely on the agenda of all the education system, of all the schools, and definitely for us, teachers are being trained. We have been introducing now computational thinking along with AI from grade 3 level. Right? However, it forms a tool to find the aspects of education, like what Kirti sir has just said. It's the era of fineness, not the fittest.
Right. Thank you. Before we wrap up,
And one thing, I believe the last question from both sir is very, very important. You should take that.
Which one is that? What are the
long-term educational consequences if students become overly dependent on AI for writing, research, calculations, and problem solving? How much extent should we restrict it?
I'll add my 2 cents here. I think, Kirti sir, you can also take it later, right? Maybe an extension of what I tell. AI is based on the data which we feed, and of course, it's getting smarter by the day, but it's all based on the data we feed, right? So I think I've shared this example in my school also, right? When we use AI tools for developing a question paper or understanding a certain competency level, right? The AI can hallucinate and go wrong, and you as a human have to use your discretion to identify whether it is right or wrong, or whether it is apt, right, for that situation. Right? When the children are overtly becoming dependent on writing, what is it that they are writing? Right? Is it their own thought is more valuable than something which is curated from all over the place and put it in form of some document? Right? Of course, that long-term dependency to present something will definitely have its shortcomings, but if you're using that tool to enhance, right, of course, it's a positive trait.
Right. Thank you. Any other panelists who would like to add anything before I wrap up?
Oh, I just like to add that with your permission. Yeah. So Bosa, first of all, thank you so much for asking brilliant question. If you're there out there, right? I have 2 answers to this. One is philosophical, and the other is probably a far-sighted visionary answer for that. A philosophical answer would be that simple as that I don't think AI will win this race. I don't think so. As a student of AI and neuroscience, I never think that AI is going to win this race. The simple reason is world is not about same patterns. The axis at which the sun rose today, the same axis sun will not rise tomorrow. So AI will not have any kind of replacement to human beings. That's my fundamental belief. Second answer to that question is that I just give an example. While I'm not against any companies out there, so that's a clear disclaimer. But if you start over dependent on, say, for example, the likes of quick commerce companies out there, which has come up in India, and quick commerce is only successful in our great country, which is India. Nowhere in the world you will find quick commerce. I foresee a danger over there, and I may be wrong. That's a disclaimer. Few years later, our brain will stop having capabilities of planning because we will not start storing anything at home. We will say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, let's order it. Second, you will stop losing your communication skills when it comes to negotiation capabilities. So in simple, as a biological student, if you stop using one of your finger or one of your hand and just use the other one, after a few years, that finger or that human organ will become useless. So if you're making your children over dependent on AI tools which are available, right, it's like that kind of a drug abuse. You can't control it because anything which comes easy, instant, quick, ready-made, we as humans psychologically get tempted towards that. Therefore, it's more important as informed parents and educators to sit across with our children, make them understand AI is a catalyst ancillary tool. It should not be way of your life. If that sensitivity is installed, I believe we can collaborate AI and human together and create a better place for future.
Amazing. Well explained, sir. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank all our panelists for sharing their insights and experiences. And of course, a big thank you to all the parents and students who've joined us today. And if there's one thing we'd like to take away from today's discussion is that every child has the potential. The key is helping them discover it early and giving them the right environment to grow, which we at Pallavi International School, Gandipet, are promising to our parents. Not just academics, but holistic development is what we really work on. And we hope today's conversation has given you a better understanding of how our schools work, parents, technology, and career guidance. Once we all work it out together, how we can support a child's journey to reach his or her fullest potential. Thank you once again, everybody, and have a wonderful day ahead. We hope to see all the parents in the campus very soon. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, dear panelists.